this is a part of the Healthy Living series sponsored by South Coast Chinese Company. Without microphone, hopefully everybody can hear me. Can you hear me in the back? Okay. Welcome to join us is Healthy Living, sponsored by South Coast Chinese Cultural Association. I'm Jeffrey Liu. I'm one of the volunteers here. This series is sponsored by South Coast Chinese Cultural Association and also is co-sponsored by UCI and Monty J. Southern California Technology Association, as well as Legacy Fountain Angels. And we really appreciate you joining us today, and would like to take a survey before we start. Please raise your hand if you have been here on the initial inaugurate series. Please raise your hand. Wow. Quite a significant repeat. Great. And for those of you who received email from UC Irvine, please raise your hand. Okay. How about received email from SCCCA? Great. And read about newspaper, World Journal? That's good. And, how many of you have learned Tai Chi before? Oh, wow. Almost 80–90%. And who have never touched Tai Chi before? New? Great. So, I don't want to disappoint you, but I personally learned a little bit of Tai Chi. I started learning Tai Chi a little bit from Dr. Lin when he's teaching in UCI Medical Center right in front lawns there. And I like to introduce Dr. Lin, and he has so many credentials, and I don't want to miss any, so you may already see on the PowerPoint here. Dr. Lin is a professor of UC Irvine, and he's a member of National Advisory Council on Complementary and Alternative Medicine. And he also served on Public Advisory Group on non-pharmacological management of pain and stress in military, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. And he is a direct inheritor, is a 20th generation of inheritors. In Chinese, that's trident. That means direct disciples in the 20th generation of Cheng style Tai Chi, and designated by Grandmaster Chen Zhenlei of Henan Province in Chen Family Village. He's the co-creators of World Tai Chi and Qigong Days, celebrating in 100 countries, and just recently have that celebrations at the same times in Irvine and the rest of 100 countries worldwide. He's permanent co-chair of the World Congress of Qigong and Traditional Chinese Medicine. And without further ado, please welcome Dr. Lin. Thank you, Jeffrey. And
thank you for your enthusiastic support of this series. After the initial presentation last month, there were several requests that I perhaps give a brief preview of the sessions yet to come, not just tonight, but every month there'll be one of these for the next, there'll be 6 more, okay? Okay, good. Turn off the lights. Okay, so of course in April, the discussion was on what is evidence-based medicine, clinical trials, observational studies, and what constitutes significance, statistical significance, clinical significance, and how safe is Western medicine compared to traditional Chinese medicine. Tonight is actually part 1 of 2 of such presentations. So tonight I'll talk about Tai Chi, okay? I'll spend the first hour or so on the latest research, much of it done in my laboratory at UCI, on how Tai Chi could benefit so much our mind and body function. And then the second hour, hour and a half, I will teach you some basic Tai Chi techniques. You all know there are over 100 different Tai Chi movements in our laboratory in collaboration with Grandmaster Chen Zheng Lei. We try to reduce 100 or some movements down to maybe 10 of the ones that are proven to be most effective in many, many ways that I'll talk about. So that's what we're going to teach tonight. But of course, an hour is not nearly enough to cover all of this. So the next one in June 8th, okay, will be part 2. It will be focused on Qigong rather than Tai Chi. And at the end of the lecture, I will talk a little bit more about how that will continue today's discussion. This will be followed in September. We will have July and August off because of the summer holidays. Chinese martial arts for fitness and self-defense. This will be the 3rd of the series. If you can think of Tai Chi and Qigong as the softer type of exercises, of course our body needs more than just soft exercises. Fast exercises are also very, very important for cardiovascular health, muscle health, and so forth. So this one, number 4, is on the Chinese martial arts, particularly focused on Wing Chun, okay, Wing Chun. This one will be particularly of interest to perhaps your younger generation, because if they have watched the movies, Bruce Lee movies or Ip Man movies, I'm a direct descendant of Ip Man. And I will teach some of the most authentic, Wing Chun techniques to you all, both for mind and body health as well as for self-defense. Next, healthy diet and dietary supplements. That is a very, controversial subject. Every day we read about this diet is good, this one doesn't work, this works. Even more so, vitamins and fish oil pills and ginkgo biloba, ginseng, do they work? Do they not work? As it turns out, some of them actually hurt us. So I will bring you the latest information on, not just what works or not, but why, okay, the principles that you can learn to decide for yourself why this is good, this is perhaps not as good. Next, meridians, acupuncture points, and therapeutic massage. There's a lot of interest in acupuncture. I cannot, although I can, but I cannot here teach you putting needles on yourself. But the next best thing is to put finger pressure, hand pressure on acupuncture points. These are the same points. A lot of research has been done showing that the body will react in a very favorable way. And this will be a very important health maintenance routine that you can learn to do yourself. Besides, I will also go into the basic theory and principles of acupuncture itself and the biological mechanisms at the cellular and molecular level, how acupuncture could work so well, and how if you put your finger on these points, you can expect perhaps not as intense a reaction, but certainly favorable reaction. Finally, this one we're talking about January now, every month, January of next year. This one is particularly of interest to, again, to the younger generation. Anybody who's interested in getting into the healthcare field, should you be an MD or a doctor of oriental medicine or doctor of orthopedic medicine or naturopathic medicine. Having been the dean of the School of Biological Sciences, I have a huge database of how people go into this, go into that, what kind of qualifications you need, and the pros and cons in getting into these things. So particularly valuable if you have people who are getting into college or about to graduate from college, for that matter, to perhaps get some information on this area. So very briefly, those are the ones coming up, and tonight hold your questions because many of the things that I cannot touch on today, I will certainly continue to touch on in the next one on Qigong. So today the focus is on Tai Chi. All right, so Tai Chi. This is blocking some of the view. Maybe we can move this. Oh, okay, I do. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, mainly. So, as you can see, most of you do Tai Chi, and everybody's going to do Tai Chi. From Beijing, 2008, Tai Chi people performing at the Beijing Olympics, to the Panda Bears doing Tai Chi at the London Olympics. Okay, you can even see the red double-decker buses, trademark of England. And from Earth to outer space. This is Chinese astronaut Liu Yang in the space station Sky Palace, and she decided that if there's only one type of exercise you can do, she's doing Tai Chi. You may laugh, but maybe at the end of my lecture you will see why. Okay. So, as a general introduction, okay, where does Tai Chi fit in terms of healthy living and healing? So, in traditional Chinese medicine, a different language is used compared to Western medicine. From thousands of years ago, they didn't understand, germs and viruses and things like that, and cancer or diabetes. So, the idea is that the body has this type of vital energy that's called Qi, and this is almost a universal idea. In Japan, it's called Ki. In Korea, it's called Ki. In India, it's called Prana. Okay, the idea that living things, have this vital energy flowing through the body. Now, the Qi doesn't just freely diffuse all over the body. They tend to flow along these channels that are called meridians. So Qi and meridians. As I just quickly mentioned, in one of the lectures to follow in a few months, I will devote full attention to the scientific studies of, Qi and meridians and acupuncture points and so forth. But for now, just think of this, that if a Chinese doctor is to diagnose you as having a deficiency in Qi or imbalance of Qi or blockage of the flow of Qi, then that will result in diseases and disorders. And the prescription would be to do Qigong, okay, the exercise to enhance Qigong. There are special herbal drugs, most well known as ginseng, that could achieve a similar result. And something I will talk about later in the year, acupuncture, related therapies like cupping, gua sha, okay, and so forth. Moxibustion, massage therapy, of course, particularly acupuncture appointment, and heat therapy, okay, and other related therapies. So first, let's talk about what exactly is Qigong, okay? So in Chinese, Qigong is 三条, the 3 regulations, okay? So to qualify it as Qigong, first of all, it has to stems from China directly. If it's from India, we call that yoga, right? So to qualify as Qigong, the 3 regulations, 三条. First, 调身, okay, regulate the body in some way, while at the same time, 调息, regulate breathing in some way. And you will certainly learn all of this tonight, okay, firsthand. And third, regulation of the mind, 调心. And the important thing is you have to regulate all 3 at the same time, okay? 三条合一. You cannot do this on Monday, do this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday. Now, in this context, we will call Tai Chi when it's practiced with breathing regulation and mindfulness regulation as a type of Qigong. Tai Chi is in fact a very, very effective form of self-defense, and many people practice it for that purpose. But in terms of health enhancement, when it's practiced with regulation of breathing and mind, and so in the body, it will qualify as a type of Qigong. So you can think of Qigong as the umbrella term, and then, right there's Tai Chi among many other things. So the next presentation, I will talk about the research and teach you, important techniques from 五行气, 5 animals Qigong, 5 animals frolic Qigong, 八段锦, 8 seconds silk bouquet, 一筋经, tendon changing classic, and so forth and so forth, but that'll be next month. Now, the 3 regulations, interestingly, was mentioned in a totally different context. Professor Herbert Benson of Harvard Medical School, he is head of behavioral medicine at Harvard. He's one of the pioneers in this field, and as early as like 1975, he wrote a book titled Relaxation Response. After studying extensively, in India, in Nepal, in the Himalayas, not China, trying to understand, how people meditate over there, he came up with this book with the theory that if you regulate your body in some way, regulate your respiration, and just regulate your mind, focusing on a single thought, okay? A single thought might be religious, but need not be. Maybe philosophical, need not be. It could be a sound, okay? It could be just beats, or just single words, okay? As long as the word is not like money or sex or something, right? So, something, okay, pleasant and neutral, okay? And you would reach a deep rate of relaxation response. And we'll talk about that today. How do you measure relaxation response? So, totally consistent with Chinese Qigong principles. Okay, so now we'll focus on Tai Chi. Harvard Medical School has this on their website. It says, Tai Chi is often described as meditation in motion. See, many people meditate sitting like this, okay? But Tai Chi, moving, meditation, but it might well be called medication in motion. There is growing evidence that this mind-body practice, which originated in China as a martial art, has value in treating or preventing many health problems. Harvard Medical School. Even more important is your tax dollars through the Department of Health and Human Services and the National Institutes of Health has funded free DVDs by the millions. The government was giving out millions and millions of free DVDs promoting Tai Chi as a helpful thing to do. Okay, so the National Center for Complementary and Alternative Medicine, at the National Institutes of Health, says Tai Chi and Qigong for health and well-being, scientifically proven. Scientifically proven benefits include bone health, cardiopulmonary health, balance, fitness, fibromyalgia treatment, osteoarthritis, pain relief, hypertension, diabetes, cancer-related symptoms, and so forth and so forth. This is the federal government telling us. And it's too late now. They've given out all the DVDs they're going to give out. So this is actually something on the internet you can read and get. So I could go on and on, but just the headlines here. Okay. Shown by randomized controlled trials. Those of you who were here last month know exactly what I mean. Okay. In clinical trials, Tai Chi decreased fibromyalgia symptoms, published in the top journal, New England Journal of Medicine. Decreased Parkinson's symptoms, New England Journal of Medicine. Decreased arthritis symptoms, decreased blood pressure, falls in the elderly, bone density, LDL, bad cholesterol going down, decreased mental stress, improved sleep, improved concentration, and many other things. Please don't ask us to pull the screen down. It's the aiming of the camera that's the problem here. The screen couldn't be pulled down anymore. So first of all, many of you have learned Tai Chi, but did you really learn the essence of Tai Chi? Because in the United States, the national average is people take Tai Chi for 3 weeks and they stop doing it, okay? So few people actually adopted this as a lifelong activity. So Tai Chi, okay, in Chinese means the ultimate balance and harmony of yin and yang. If you look at this diagram, see, from the yang comes the yin, from the yin comes the yang. So from the hard and fast comes the slow and soft, and within the yang there's yin, within the yin there's yang. With the softness, there's hardness, with hardness, there's softness. And the fastness, there's slowness is. So it's very complex, okay? If you think that Tai Chi is just old people in the park, doing slow, that's only half of Tai Chi, okay? True Tai Chi is this. As a matter of fact, okay, the 2013 national champion in fighting is from Tai Chi, beating the number 2 guy from the Shaolin Temple, okay? So Tai Chi is certainly very effective as a fighting technique as well. A very brief history of Tai Chi. There are all sorts of stories in martial arts movies and books about Zhang Sanfeng started Tai Chi in the Wudang San. That's just fiction. Okay, there's no written history of that. The written history started 400 years ago in the Chen family village, Chenjiagao. Chen Wangting was the first to be recognized as somebody really like, promoting Tai Chi. And from Chen Wangting on, now it's been 19th generation. Each generation, the best person, is the Grandmaster Zhang Wenren. And the 19th generation is the co-holder of that title, Chen Zhenglei and Chen Xiaowang. Okay, they are cousins. Now, Yang style Tai Chi started only 4 generations ago by Yang Lucan, who actually went to the Chan family village, learned Yang style Tai Chi, and then modified and simplified it. Took away the hard movements, the fast movements, and the yin side of Tai Chi. Okay, that's very accessible to older people, and that is no doubt the most popular type of Tai Chi in America as well, probably in the whole world. And then from there, Mr. Sun, Mr. Wu, Mr. Wu Hao, okay, they learned from Mr. Yang, and they started the other 3 main branches of Tai Chi. So right now, Tai Chi is recognized as having 5 main branches. I have been extremely fortunate to have the opportunity to train with 19th generation Grandmaster Chen Zhenglei, but also the great-grandson of Yang Lucan, Yang Zhenbo, and Sun, okay, Sun Yuntian, and then Wu, okay, and Wu Ma Long, and so forth. So I do have a pretty good understanding, of all the different Tai Chi styles that are taught now in the world. So first, let's talk about benefits of Tai Chi to the body, okay? Obviously, it's a physical exercise, and in fact, most people, practices as nothing more than that. Effects on muscle, tendons, and balance. So we start in our laboratory focusing on fall prevention, preventing you from falling. Falling, who falls, okay? That's because you're so young, okay? Falling is a big problem in the elderly. It's the #1 cause of accidental death, okay, in the United States. 1 in 3 older adults, so meaning people in their 60s, 70s, fall at least once a year. Falling, okay, 2.2 non-fatal falls were treated in emergency rooms, fracturing spine, pelvis, hip, and arm, which many times lead to a downward spiral in health, eventually leading to death. And almost 20,000 old adults back a few years ago died of falls, okay, making it the leading injury of death. And because, of the population getting older and older, these numbers are predicted to double by the middle of this century. So, as a physical exercise, okay, it's not surprising that in clinical trials, randomized controlled trial, people who practice Tai Chi compared to a comparison group who just do nothing, that within 6 months or so, there's an increase in flexibility. So like in white, like rotate, you can rotate more to the side, you can reach down more. That's not surprising, okay? Versus the black bars are the comparison group. Better balance, okay? So in the white bar, right leg, people could stand on one leg for a longer time than the comparison group. But the proof is in the pudding. There are many clinical trials showing that indeed people who practice Tai Chi have fewer falling incidents. So this is a separate study, so the color is reversed, okay? So a group divided into two subgroups, doing Tai Chi, in black, and not doing Tai Chi, just doing stretching exercises, okay. Each month, there's a significant decrease in falling incidence in the Tai Chi group. You can see that. And the stretching exercises help a little bit, but not significant. So in our laboratory, we asked, what's so special about Tai Chi as an exercise? First, we use a technique called electromyography. We put electrodes, on different muscle groups on the body, legs, and so forth. And these electrodes will report to us, record into a mini computer, one at the belt. Every time a muscle group contracts, there'll be a signal. And then we could go and measure that signal and see how strong it is. Okay? So, for instance, here I'm going to show you 3 recordings. Okay? The top one is the side muscles, the hip flexors here, side muscles of the upper thigh. The one in the middle is the back, hamstring. And this line here is the quadriceps, up here. Okay? So you can see, when the muscles contract, they go, and we can go and measure the height of these peaks and then get some numbers out of it. Okay? So just a demonstration of such an experiment. First, just like walking, like that, okay? And we're reporting from here, here, and here, okay? Normal walking, and the electrodes are put on the right leg. I should have brought my own computer. This software is not optimal for doing this. Okay, so without the video, so this is actually a recording of a person not just walking like this, but in Tai Chi, when you go forward, you go, see when I want to go like this, it's martial arts, right? If I go like this, I get kicked in the groin, right? So I go side and step into it. Like this, okay? And you can see when I do this, the side muscles get used a lot. The back muscles, yeah, is used. The back muscles, not much, and the front muscles a lot, okay? Because when I go like this, okay, I'm using my side muscles. So when I go like this, I'm using these muscles. when I step into it, I'm using these muscles, okay? And this, these muscles, and this muscle. When I walk, I'm hardly using anything, okay? I can walk for miles and actually not achieve much in terms of training my muscles. So to quantify, you see, when we report from these six different muscle groups, 6 different colors, during normal walk, the signal we get from these muscles are rather weak. The front Tai Chi walk, this walk, you see these muscles are used a lot more, like 2, 3, 4 times more. Doing the back walk, same thing. Back walk, back walk. I'm using these muscles a lot. Side kick, okay, side kick. Cross stance, like this. Cross stance. They use these muscles a lot. But what's so important about this is that the side muscles are your stabilizers, and these are your brakes. So like if I go and strip like that, okay, see I stop myself because I have strong front muscles, okay? I could do this because these are stabilizers. So if I have strong side muscles and front muscles, I'm in a much better position of not falling. So through this type of analysis, you can see how practicing Tai Chi and some exercises I'm going to teach you will really strengthen the stabilizers and the brakes. Okay? But much more than that, okay, when we measure many different movements in Tai Chi and classify the signals we get, okay, if it's a lot of exercising of those, we will color it red, okay? And when it's very good, we color it orange. And when it's still good, okay, yellow. And these are different Tai Chi movements. And you see, a whole bunch of reds and oranges, and some yellow as well. So you can see for legs, okay, all red, orange, and red, okay. So Tai Chi is an excellent exercise for all major muscle groups, from the deltoid, the shoulders, to the chest, or to the side, to the trapezius, and the back, and lower back, all of this. And I just pick out like the very top one, okay. San Tong Bei. Okay, through the back dodges. Well, you can see that it's a good exercise for a lot of muscle groups. And you will learn this later. You can see, and then the other side, okay. The next one, all reds, okay, is Sun Quan. You learn this too. Green dragon out of water. So you can see slow and fast movements. From the slow comes the fast, and so forth. And on and on. Next, within every muscle group are fast twitch muscle fibers and slow twitch muscle fibers, or just the fast fibers and the slow fibers. The slow ones are for like heavy lifting, endurance, and fast, of course, is like running, jumping, and things like that. So to be perfectly functional, you would hope that your fast and slow muscle fibers are all working very well. You cannot, separate the different muscle groups. This is a cross-section of a piece of muscle, and you see the fast and slow, they all intermingle. Okay, so it's important that you exercise both types all the time. Why is that? Because, first of all, the fast ones are the first to go as you age. Oh, well, you're too young here. Well, in this definition, over 30, your fast muscle fibers are the first to go. Number two, if you exercise the fast without the slow or slow with the fast, within 10 days, you can see appreciable decrease in muscle function. So you really need to take care of both at the same time. What you don't want to do is, when you get old, you're losing fast muscle fibers, and you go and do slow exercises, like do this, and then you go into a downward spiral. You should, in fact, as you get older and older, do more fast exercises, because the fast ones are the ones they using the most. Well, how do you exercise the fast and the slow? Okay. First of all, intuitively, slow exercises are good for the slow muscle fibers, and the fast ones for the fast muscle fibers. But counterintuitive is the following. Exercises could be divided as concentric exercises, like pulling in, and eccentric is like pushing up. Okay, so if you take a barbell and do this, that's concentric. And then do that, that's eccentric. In muscle research, we found that when you do concentric exercises, which is most, weightlifting in the gym, when you do concentric exercises, you exercise the slow muscle fibers when you do it slowly. But what is surprising is when you do slow eccentric exercises, you exercise both the fast and the slow, even though you're doing it slowly. And so even though when you see somebody doing, Harding Wild Horse's mane slowly, right? Well, that's an eccentric exercise, so actually you get some exercise of the fast muscle fibers as well. Static exercises, 站桩, standing meditation, okay, when you are doing that, you actually also exercise both the fast and the slow. It's the concentric that doesn't help the fast ones. And when we talk about fast movements, of course, fast movements are for fast muscle fibers. But if you do fast and eccentric, that's the most efficient way to exercise your fast muscle fibers. So later on, I'm going to teach you some exercises for that. Okay, we just quickly go through a few things that are clinically important. Parkinson's disease, okay, New England Journal of Medicine article a few years ago. So people who suffer from Parkinson, they were divided into 3 groups: the Tai Chi group, the weightlifting group, or the stretching group. An hour of exercise, 2 times a week for 24 weeks. Tai Chi group performed better in maximum exertion, like how far they could go. In stride length, they could do much better rather than like this. Functional reach, reaching for things. And incidence of fall, okay. So very helpful for people suffering from Parkinson's. Fibromyalgia, okay, another article in New England Journal of Medicine. Fibromyalgia describes the problem that people have when they're suffering mind-body pain. Okay, pain affects their mood, affects the physical function, the cardio function, coordination, mental health, self-health, relaxation, and Tai Chi in this clinical trial was shown to be helpful for all of these symptoms. All of these. Because indeed, mind-body exercise helping mind-body problems, okay? Well, perhaps something more common and less serious nevertheless. For joints, okay, for arthritis, the Arthritis Foundation of America has endorsed Tai Chi as a good exercise to do for people suffering from arthritis. And there are a couple of clinical trials. In this one, you know, after 3 months, the Tai Chi group had a substantial drop in knee pain and improvement in function and mental depression and general health status. The authors conclude that synergy between physical and mental components likely played a role, again, mind, body. Because not just, you know, physical movement, but, you know, mental problems as well. Getting to be more common now. Bone loss, particularly post, women post-menopausal, okay. Bones getting not as hard as it should be. In this clinical trial, the Tai Chi group exhibited reduced rates of post-menopausal decline in bone density, bone mass density. And that the Tai Chi exercise for several years, practicing that for several years, the subjects had higher bone mass density than age-matched sedentary controls, those people not doing any exercise, slower rates of